They updated the musket to use projectiles instead of hit scan. Ward, Bane, resilience, and expertise all removed. Discover Aeternum's next chapter for $29.99. Summon a mount for faster traversal across Aeternum. Master horses, direwolves, and lions, each with a unique look, customizable equipment, and a name you can set. Level up the new riding trade skill. That's right, it's going to be a new trade skill. We've also got new progression, guys. Increase your character's level to 65 and gear score to 700. We have a new gear rarity, artifact gear. New weapon, the flail. The new area, Elysian Wilds. There's a new expedition, the Savage Divide. Also getting a new heart rune ability, Primal Fury, and they removed the perk combinations that are never usable. Refreshing recovery. When your health drops below 50%, all of your active abilities cooldowns will reset. They raised the maximum gear score from 625 to 700, folks. They also raised the maximum crafting level from 200 to 250. Umbral shards. They removed the ability to upgrade gear with umbral shards. Fix an issue that caused the recall to house button on the side panel of the map to not refresh after the player paid Azov. Yo, what's up, everybody? Whew, man, I missed you guys. So here's the deal. I'll tell you what, we've got big updates to the PTR with New World. And I gotta say, I'm pretty excited about this one. I'm almost as excited as I was when Brimstone Sands came out. This update that we're getting right now is gonna be big. We've got mounts, we've got player level 65, we've got gear level 700, we've got new kinds of gear, we've got a new weapon, all kinds of stuff. This is gonna be crazy. So the PTR is out, it's ready to go right now. So get your butts on there and help test this stuff. Let's go break some stuff, you know? I'm going to be reading the patch notes for you guys. Going to go through the whole entire document, and then I've got my work cut out for me. I'm coming back to New World. I'm going to be playing exclusively on the PTR. So if you guys want to hop in and play, I'm going to be streaming. I'll be in my Discord. So if you guys want to stop in, pop in and say hi, I hope to see you guys there. So I will see you guys soon on the PTR. But first, let's get these patch notes out of the way. There's a lot to go over. All right. All right, guys, so before we get into the patch notes, which I just got done recording them, it's going to be like an hour long, all right? So just bear with me. I'm just going to read this for you guys, and we're going to go over what the PTR is all about, the big new things, and then we're going to go through the perks, changes, all that stuff. So here we go. Greetings, adventurers. Ride mounts, wield a new weapon, and explore transformed lands when New World, Rise of the Angry Earth launches on October 3rd. We can't wait for players to experience every new feature, including the story behind the Fall of First Light in our first paid expansion. Discover Aeternum's next chapter for $29.99. New players can pick up both the base game and the expansion for $69.99 as part of the New World Elysian Edition bundle. Look forward to Season 3 updates for all players alongside the release of Rise of the Angry Earth with revamped mainline story quests, open world PvP changes based on player feedback, and quality of life improvements like the removal of wards, banes, and expertise. There has never been a better time to visit the Eternal Isle. Check out the announcement trailer below. I'm going to play this trailer at the end of the video for anybody that hasn't seen it, but we will save it for the end of the video. Here's an overview of every major update coming to New World as part of the Rise of the Angry Earth. And the reason I'm reading this, guys, is because these specifics are not in the actual release notes. Summon a mount for faster traversal across Aeternum. Master horses, direwolves, and lions, each with a unique look, customizable equipment, and a name you can set. Level up the new riding trade skill. That's right, it's going to be a new trade skill to earn upgrades like increased speed, buffs, and higher tier consumable food for your new friend. We've also got new progression, guys. Increase your character's level to 65 and gear score to 700 with new attributes to help power up your builds. Increase trade skills to level 250 with new items to gather, refine, and craft, and complete a new faction quest and unlock new faction tier loaded with desirable gear and items. And another big change, we have a new gear rarity, artifact gear. Find and equip artifacts, a powerful new tier of weapons and armor. Complete a series of quests and awaken the artifact's full potential by unlocking its 6 perks, including 1 unique playstyle defining perk to change your game. So we're going to have even more ways to customize your class, which is sick. New weapon, the flail. So it's a versatile one-handed weapon with the option for an offhand shield. Use arcane magic to enhance attacks and buff allies or debuff enemies for an easier victory. Through a combination of melee, arcane magic, and strong defense, the wielder can bolster their group's effectiveness without dropping the offensive. The new area, Elysian Wilds. The southeastern tip of Aeternum, formerly known as First Light, has been invaded by the powers of Artemis and the Angry Earth. Explore the raised structures of this new magical landscape, and battle the ferocious beasts that have taken refuge in the verdant, unsettled terrain. There's a new expedition, the Savage Divide. Embark on a dangerous new level 62 plus expedition to track down the primordial beast lords before chaos emerges from the depths of Aeternum. We're also getting a new heart rune ability, Primal Fury. Unleash your inner beast to deal unarmed, light, and heavy attacks on enemies. And I've used it. Your guy just looks bigger. I don't think you look like that thing, but we'll see that in the PTR. Hopefully I'm going to get in there as soon as I'm done reading all these patch notes. And also season 3 content. So influence races, a new season pass, a main storyline quest revamp, and more are coming for all players in season 3. Here's some of the highlights. New season pass. Season 3 introduces a new season journey, new activity card, new challenges, and new rewards. New influence races. Capture new influence towers like they were talking about a long time ago, and strike down enemy factions in open world combat for territorial supremacy. Each faction will complete for influence in specific zones during scheduled times. If an attacking faction earns enough influence through PvP missions, influence towers, and forts before the race ends, they'll receive bonus rewards plus the opportunity to declare war. If the defending faction prevents the attackers from scoring enough influence within the time limit, they'll earn bonus rewards for both the influence race and the next war. Regardless of who wins, the attacking faction with the most influence can escalate the conflict into war. The new main storyline and quest revamp, Eden Grove and Great Cleave. The Eden Grove and Great Cleave main storylines are getting an overhaul based on player feedback and improvements made to the revamped starting experience. Experience these familiar zones through fresh narratives, more quest variety, and a few new surprises. Ward, Bane, Resilience, and Expertise all removed. We're removing Creature Bane perks, Creature Ward perks, Resilience perks, and Expertise based on player feedback. As a result, we'll make the following balance changes. For Banes, we're increasing the base damage of magic and ranged weapons in PvE to make them more effective alternatives to melee options against multiple enemies. For wards, we're making adjustments on the AI and encounter side to account for the removal of their defense and offensive benefits. For resilience, we've added crit reduction to all players via the equip load effects. Light, you're going to get minus 15%, medium minus 20, and heavy minus 25% crit. Current items with this perk will receive the health perk instead, which increases the player's health as a certain percentage of their base health. For expertise, we're making adjustments to the gear score drops from all creatures based on their level. Stay tuned for more weapon and perk balance updates as we continue to implement player feedback in Season 3. Seasonal events. Events will continue to be free for all players. This season includes the following returning favorites. So we're going to get the Night Veil Hollow back, Turkey Terror, and that's it. So we've got a expansion FAQ here, guys. I'm not going to go through this. Just read it if you want. And now for the very long list of perk changes, weapon changes, new systems, etc. Here we go. All right, guys, let's go ahead and pop right in. If you guys want to read along, I'll have the link for this in the description. It's just on their main website. All right, so the PTR will officially open tomorrow. That's actually today. Today's September 12th at 8 a.m. And will run until... Wait a second. The PTR will officially open tomorrow, September 12th at 8 a.m. Pacific and run until 8 a.m. Pacific on September 18th. So I don't know what that means. Does that mean we're only going to have it for a week? World Experience General. So Mangled Heights and Malevolence have both been converted to solo landmarks. Updated the appearance of the Brightwood Tavern Keeper, and Banana Pile can now be picked up in housing. That's nice. Notable fixes. They fixed an issue that prevented progression in the quest out of his misery. Fixed an issue that caused some brimstone glyphs to not appear in the correct locations. Updated the text in the waste not, want not quest for consistency. Fixed an issue with the description and quest marker for something to celebrate. And killing an unhallowed devout will now progress the quest A King's Defense. Expeditions, Barnacle and Black Powder, they fixed an issue that caused the Blu-ray around the cannonball to appear pixelated. And they also resolved an issue that caused Admiral Black Powder's final line to cut out too early. For Laz, they fixed an issue that caused the last chest to not unlock for all players, and Empyrean Forge fixed an issue that caused Commander Marius's fireballs to not reach their intended destination. We've got some AI updates. They fixed an issue that caused Tribune Elias, Master of Hounds, to not deal melee damage. And they also adjusted the level of several Invasion and Outpost Rush AI to account for player power increases. Combat changes. Weakened status effects can now reduce the effects of acid damage. They fixed an issue where the rune glass of sighted carnelian gems caused taunts to not trigger when slotted into weapons. Fixed an issue that made some attack chains cause client or server desyncs. Reduced self-healing by 10% and consumable healing by 20% while in PvP game modes. Increased dodge distance for medium and heavy equip loads. Updated medium dodge animations to better maintain speed throughout the animation, and they improved the transition to sprint out of dodge for all equip loads. They also reduced the medium hit sprint delay to 0.75 seconds from 1 second, and light hit sprint delay to 1 second from 1.5 seconds. Set limiters for a variety of lifesteals across various weapons and perks to either have a 0.1 second cooldown if lifesteal is associated with all attacks, or the attack is more of a single target focused attack, or a 3 target limit if the attack is more of an AoE or designed to be a cleaving style ability. Attribute bonuses. Updated the 250 strength attribute bonus to apply to the entire basic melee attack and not just on startup. They added 2 new attribute bonus nodes at 25 and 350. They also updated the functionality of and moved around several existing nodes, so we're going to be checking all that stuff out. They updated the Dex 300 attribute bonus to no longer be dodge stamina reduction. It will now cleanse CC status effects on weapon swap with a 15-second cooldown. They also increased the HP gain from leveling slightly and increased the amount of HP gain from con slightly, done to account for the gear score and level increase. Damage changes. They increased the range and magic weapons base damage globally. So they increased the range and magic weapons base damage globally. So if you have a magic weapon or any range weapon, they're just going to do more damage. But they also reduce their base damage back down again in PvP fights. Okay, so this is going to help make it more viable for dungeons. This change was made to increase the effectiveness of the weapons in PvE, without disrupting PvP balance. Flyout present in game modes menu in the bottom of weapon mastery tooltips shows balance changes tuned separately for PvE and PvP. For the musket, they increased the base damage from 78 to 83 in PvE, but then reduced it by 12% in PvP, down to 73. Bow, they did the same thing. They increased the damage from 67 to 72 in PvE, and this is base damage, then reduced it by 14% in PvP, down to 62. The Blundy, they increased the base damage from 78 to 80 in PvE and then reduced it by 9% in PvP, down to 73. They reduced self-healing power in PvP game modes by 10% and reduced consumable healing power in PvP game modes by 20%. They added inherent crit damage reduction to players based on equip load. If you're light, you've got negative 15% or minus 15%, medium minus 20%, and heavy minus 25%. This change was made to account for the removal of the resilient perk, so resilient is gone. They slightly increased the diminishing returns on the damage bonus modifiers from attributes from 351 to 500. When doing damage to a target, the abilities equipped by that specific weapon will now be used to apply additional on-hit status effects instead of the abilities equipped by the currently active weapon, which can differ. They added acid damage and resistance to various existing status effects, gems, and other effects to allow it to function similarly to any other damage type. For the sword and shield, they fixed an issue where the slow from leaping strike could be refreshed by some damage over time ticks, and also fixed an issue that caused cause some lower tier shields to have better block stamina damage than higher tier shields. For the Ice Gauntlet, they adjusted the Wind Chill and Ice Spike's abilities to be treated as range instead of melee attacks. For the bow, they fixed an issue that caused the Catch Me If You Can buff to get stuck on players until they logged out. For the Blundy, they fixed an issue that allowed splitting grenades to cancel mortar charge and fire without cooldown, removed the damage fall off of basic shots fired from 10 to 14 meters away. They updated the Blundy to be fully loaded when initially equipped. This fixes issues where the blunderbuss would have awkward animations when initially equipping and unsheathing it. And they fixed an issue that caused splitting grenades, child grenade explosions to not deal damage. For the Rapier, they fixed an issue that caused the controlled breathing passive for the Rapier to trigger off of some damage over time ticks, and fixed an issue where the Rapier's flurry animation could be canceled to cast Tondo twice. They updated the musket to use projectiles instead of hit scan. Wow, that is a big change. Updated the musket to use projectiles instead of hit scan. They added functionality to allow the musket projectiles to have bullet penetration through targets natively. They significantly increased the musket accuracy. We still have some slight variance, but much less than it previously had. They updated several passives and upgrades to account for the functional changes to the musket. Heightened precision, removed aiming requirements. Hit Your Mark, renamed to optimal range that gives damage bonuses based on distance to the target, granting optimal damage while between 20 meters and 50 meters. Called Shot, increased damage and reduces time from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. Greater Accuracy, renamed to Quick Load, and updated functionality to shorten the duration of the reload if 2 targets are hit with a single shot. Steady Hands, renamed to Shell Shock, and updated functionality to weaken targets on headshot. Updated the critical reload functionality. It will now trigger off of 2 headshots and reduce the duration of the next reload instead of completely skipping it. Updated the Sniper Ultimate to now be Deadeye and got some definite Red Dead Redemption 2 vibes here, and removed the zoom functionality. The next shot will now inflict bleed as an added benefit for hitting multiple targets with a single shot. Sick. Traps, they'll now deal damage when it triggers, will now remain in the world for 30 seconds instead of 20. Sticky Bomb, they remove the aim state for Sticky Bomb and will not be thrown immediately on button press. Remove the aim state for Sticky Bomb and will not be thrown immediately on button press. So what, it just lobs it in the... Well, we'll check that out. Adjusted projectile spawn location, angle, trajectory, and gravity of the Sticky Bomb to account for the instant throw. That's going to be interesting. Power Shot increased the damage from 150 to 170%. Gave Power Shot additional functionality that causes it to deal additional damage against hostile AI targets. Added a 1-second cooldown when switching between Power Shot and Powder Burn without firing. And fixed an issue that caused the effect from the musket Back It Up passive to not always be removed on weapon swap. So big changes for the musket, guys. Can't wait to see what that's like on the PTR as soon as I'm done with these stupid notes. Void Gauntlet, fixed an issue that caused some int attribute bonuses to not apply to the Void Gauntlet. Fixed an issue that caused the player to not return to Void Blade basic attacks after casting Essence Rupture when Void Blade was active. For the Hatchet, they fixed an issue that caused the Hatchet Final Blow upgrade to not deal damage, and fixed an issue that caused the Berserk ability to be cancelled and activated without playing the animation. Fire Staff, they updated the Pyro Dancer upgrade to add a 2.5-second cooldown if the player is staggered while using Flamethrower. And for the Flamethrower, we got 2 changes: doubled the hit rate of the ability damage and damage over time damage, and halved the damage of both. This was done to make the hits trigger faster but deal less, you guessed it, damage. That's a lot of damages. I've never said damage that many times in one sentence. Holy crap. Also increased the number of stacks on a target to trigger the accelerating Flamethrower from 2 stacks to 4 stacks to compensate. Great Axe. Fixed an issue that caused the Great Axe's greed and swords, empowering stab, passives, and power effects to not refresh properly on reapplication. So that got fixed. Warhammer, they fixed an issue where the outnumbered passive would still be active after killing enemies or exiting combat. Heart Runes, they fixed an issue that caused a Devourer Heart Rune to fail to cast when your camera was angled upwards on hills. Detonate Heart Rune. Due to Detonate being able to inherit damage from players and its power being well beyond what was intended, we reduced its power. The base damage was reduced by 20%. and they increased the rend on the brutal variant from 30 to 50%. Perks, they reworked the perks. Reworked perks across the board with the following goals. Dropped gear should have a much higher chance of yielding 3 usable perks. Players shouldn't need to collect large numbers of required sets of gear, and they removed the perk combinations that are never usable. Thank the Lord. Notable changes, they greatly reduced bad perk combinations by removing or improving unused perks. So for example, mana, hate reduction, etc. They reduced the effectiveness of the most used and easy to reach conditional perks so they don't outshine all the others, like Keen and Vicious. They reduced the number of required gear sets a player needs to collect through the removal of wards and resistance. Yes! So I haven't been watching the Forge and Aeternum videos, but just reading these patch notes, they're definitely making a lot of changes to make the players happy. The hit scan going away, these perks, they're doing a lot of stuff, guys. They're doing a lot of stuff. And I wish I could tell you about this program that I got in. Oh, I want to tell you guys so much stuff. The New World devs finally said, "Hey Slender, what's up? Would you like to do something cool and be part of something cool?" And I was like, "Yeah, can I tell people about it?" They're like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, what the hell?" But let me just tell you this, guys. They are listening and they are making a lot of changes, and things are getting better and things are going to be better. So just give it some time. All right. That's all I can say. NDAs suck. What can I tell you? Removed perks that impacted server performance. Example, we removed chain, reduced cooldown reduction perks, and added maximum stacks. Oh, of refreshing. Okay, that makes sense. They combined 2 stat perks to reduce the total number. Example, strength, dex, and dex strength are now the same. They added new perks to the categories that have the lowest number of combinations. Example, healing staffs have a very narrow perk range, so we added more life staff perks. Ooh. Common perk changes. Refreshing ward can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear. Existing gear with this perk will be unchanged. Refreshing evasion can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear. Existing gear with this perk will be unchanged. And luck. Scaling has... Guys, just get rid of luck, for Christ's sake. Scaling has been capped and will no longer scale after 625 gear score. Weapon perk changes. Oh God. Here we go. I'm gonna breeze through these, guys. Hated can no longer generate on magic and ranged weapons. Cool. Kind. This perk can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear. Existing gear with this perk will remain unchanged. Vicious. They reduced the critical damage bonus from 3, 12, and 13 to 3, 6, and 7. Enchanted, reduce the damage bonus from 5, 9, 8, 5, 9.8, and 10.5 to 3, 4, and 5. Ruinous, this perk can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear. Existing gear with this perk will be unchanged. Bless, reduce the healing from 6, 20, and 12 to 3, 10, and 12. Refreshing move, they reduce the cooldown reduction from 1, 2.9, and 3.2 to 1, 1.9, and 2. Life stealing, increase the life gain from 1, 5.2, and 5.8 to 1, 6.3, and 7.1. Keenly empowered, reduce damage bonuses from 20 to 10%. Keen speed, lower the cooldown from 10 seconds to 7 seconds. Siphoning blow, this perk can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear. So I'm going to not say that whole sentence for the rest of these, okay? So all of these following perks can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear. So what they're saying is they're pretty much getting rid of it. Chain lightning, chain fire, chain arcane, chain void, chain ice, all the chains. Mortal stuff like lifesteal, siphoning. Okay, so mortal lifesteal, improved scaling after 625, now grants plus 3, 7, and 10% health. Mortal siphoning can no longer generate. Mortal energy, improved scaling after 625, now grants plus 5, 35, and 50 stamina. Mortal fortification, they increased the fortify from 15 to 30% and increased duration from 10 seconds to 20 seconds. Keen, they reduced the overall bonus by 3, 12, and 13% to 3, 6, and 7%. All the Banes pretty much can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear. And the effectiveness, existing gear has had these had this perk's effectiveness reduced from base 5% down to base 2%. And again, it's not going to be dropping on any newly dropped gear. Vorpal reduced the base scaling multiplier and increased the scaling past 625, now grants plus 5, 8, and 10% headshot damage. Sure Footing, they increased the base move speed from 20 to 30%, added functionality that pushes and pulls are 20% less effective on you. Thwarting Strikes, Trenchant Strikes, okay, these all had stuff changed. So Thwarting Strikes reduced the base scaling multiplier, it now gives plus 3, 6, and 7% damage while you have active grit. Trenchant Strikes change, so any heavy attack, not just a fully charged heavy, triggers this effect. Trenchant Crits change, so any heavy attack, not just fully charged, same thing. And same thing for Trenchant Rend. Change, so any heavy attack, not just a fully charged heavy, triggers this effect. Trenchant Recovery change, so any, okay, same thing, and increase the base scaling, so it now heals. Trenchant Recovery now heals for 5, 20, and 25% of the damage dealt. Shirking Flames, Nature, Frost, Lightning, Abyss, Arcane, all increase the duration to 10 seconds from 6, and all the attunements increase the cooldown from 1 to 1.5 seconds. Flame, Frost, Shock, Arboreal, and Abyssal attunement. Penetrating Backstab, they changed the exclusive label to Damage Con 2, so it can now stack with other damage perks. This must be like in the coding. Penetrating, since everybody knows how to code this game. Penetrating Headshot, they changed the exclusive label to Damage Con 2, so it can now stack with other damage perks. Purifying Crits, lower the cooldown from 10 to 3 seconds. Exhausted Exploitation, if you hit a target in the back, you cause exhaustion for 5 seconds. And Alacritus, like Alacrity, punishment, increase the damage bonus from 8 to 20%. So we've got new weapon perks, brand new weapon perks. Savior. Healing is increased by 10, 18, and 20% when you heal a target below 50% health. Purifying Breeze. Heal for 10, 30, and 33% weapon damage every time you remove a debuff from an ally. Desperate Prayer, when you are below 50% mana, which is all the time, your healing will increase by 10, 18, and 20%. And Desperate Empower, you're going to deal 5, 7, and 12% more damage when you are exhausted. We have some shield perk changes as well. Okay, so these are all the same, so I'm just going to read the names, and I'll read the first one. Flame Shield Ward. They increase the base from 2% to 5% and increase the base scaling. Receive 5, 14, and 15% less whatever damage. So if it's Flame Shield Ward, you're going to receive less fire damage. And this change, again, I'm going to read it one more time. Increase the base from 2% to 5% and increase the base scaling. Receive 5, 14, and 15% less Frozen Shield Ward, Nature Shield Ward, Void Shield, Thrust Shield Ward, Slash Shield Ward, Arcane Shield Ward, Lightning Shield Ward, and Strike Shield Ward. Once again, for all of these, they increase the base from 2% to 5% and increase the base scaling. Receive 5, 14, and 15% less damage. New shield perks, they've got 2 of them. Healing Defense. So on block, you heal for 100, 250, and 300 health on the Kite Shield only. And another Kite Shield only. Counterattack. On block, gain a 30% in power for 4 seconds. Again, these are Kite Shield only. Ability perk changes, we've got a lot. So, Crippling Feral Rush, they improved the slow scaling. Armor, 10, 17, and 20%. Weapon, 26, 47, 50%. What I mean by the armor and weapon, if they're on the armor, they're a little bit less effective. If they're on the weapon, they're more effective, okay? So Crippling Feral Rush improved the slow scaling. On armor, it's 10, 17, and 20. Weapon, 26, 47, 50. Feral Rush now does bonus damage. On armor, 5, 8.5, and 10. Weapon, 13, 23.5, and 25. Keen Berserk improved the critical bonus scaling. On armor, 10, 17, and 20. On weapon, 26, 47, and 50. Keen Berserk also now improves damage while below 50% health in Berserk. On armor, it's 5, 8.5, and 10. On weapons, it's 13, 23.5, and 25. Empowering Rending Throw, increase the scaling multiplier past 625. Range hatchet attacks deal on armor 10, 21, 23. On a weapon is 20, 38, and 40. Damage against Rending Throw targets. I get it now. Refreshing Distance Throw, increase the scaling post 625, so after 625. Social Distancing attacks within 6 meters reduce the cooldown by, on armor it's 10, 30, and 34, and on a weapon it's 29, 56, and 60%. Exhausting Infected Throw, increase the base scaling multiplier, so direct hits with Infected Throw cause exhaustion, reducing target stamina regeneration. On armor, it's 10, 31, and 34%, and on a weapon, it's 30, 51, and 54% for 6 seconds. Empowering Armor Breaker, the damage bonus will not scale past 50%. Refreshing Mighty Gavel, increase the weapon gear score bonus. Mighty Gavel hits reduce the ability's cooldown by 5, 9.8, and 10.5% on armor, and by 14.5, 19.3, and 20% on weapons. Penetrating Wrecking Ball, they increase the weapon gear score bonus. So Wrecking Ball penetrates armor at, it penetrates on armor 5, 19, and 21%. On weapon, it's 24, 38, and 40% of the target's armor. Repulsing Clear Out, renamed and changed the functionality to Sundering Clear Out, and it inflicts rend, reducing the target's armor by 5, 8.5, and 10% on armor, and weapons 13, 23.5, and 25% for 7 seconds. Leeching Path of Destiny, increase the weapon gear score bonus heal. For armor, it's 10, 29.1, and 31.8. On a weapon, it's 40, 59, and 62% of the damage dealt by Path of Destiny. Refreshing Power Shot, they remove the on-kill trigger. This ability now refreshes 3, 26.6, and 30% on armor, and 33, 56.6, and 60% on weapons upon use, but only once every 15 seconds. Repulsing Stopping Power, renamed to Refreshing Stopping Power. It now reduced the cooldown of all other trapper abilities by, on armor, 10, 17, and 20%, and on a weapon, 26, 47, and 50% on hit. Accelerating Traps, increase the weapon gear score scaling. Movement speed is now 4, 14, and 15% on armor, and then on a weapon, 18, 31, and 33%. This perk now also grants bleeding to traps, dealing 4, 6.8, and 7.7% on the armor, and if it's on a weapon, 18, 15, and 16% weapon damage over 5 seconds. Sweeps Coup de Grace, or Coup de Grace, Coup de Grace, increase the bleed damage while on weapons, and now applies bleed for on armor 2, 12.5, and 14%, and on a weapon 16, 26, and 28% of weapon damage for 8 seconds. Sundering Javelin now also reduced Javelin's cooldown by 3, 12%, and 13% on armor, and on a weapon 14, 23, and 24%. Cyclone now scales better when on weapons, so on the armor it's 10, 32, and 36. On a weapon it's 40, 62, and 65% of weapon damage. Fortifying Perforate can now stack up to 3 times an adjusted fortify bonus to armor, 1, 9, and 10%, and on a weapon 13, 23, and 25%. Vault Kick increased the duration from 5 seconds to 7 seconds. Energizing Evade Shot, they increase the gear score bonus on weapons and increase the scaling past 625. So after hitting a target with Evade Shot, gain 33 stam and reduce the cooldown by 3%, 14, and 16% on armor, and on a weapon 19, 33, and 35%. Lasting Rain of Arrows, they increase the gear score bonus on weapons and increase the scaling past 625. Slow and bleed last on armor 10, 20%, and 22%. On weapons 26, 42, and 45% longer. Refreshing Penetrating Shot, they increase the base reduction from 3 to 5% and increase scaling past 625. Penetrating Shot skills or kills reduce its cooldown by 5, 24%, and 27% on armor, and on weapons 23, 47, and 50%. Keen Tondo now also reduces damage you take from foes affected by Tondo's bleed by 1.2, 6.7, and 7.5% on armor, and on a weapon 8.6, 14.2, and 15%. Leeching Flurry, they increased the gear score bonus while on a weapon and added 1 second of invulnerability when activating Flurry. Refreshing Flesh, they increase the gear score bonus on weapons, so hitting a target with a critical backstab with Flesh reduces its cooldown by 5%, 19, and 21% on armor, and on a weapon 24, 38, and 40%. Accelerating Light's Embrace, they lowered the base from 5 to 3% and made this more effective on weapons. Allies below full health hit with Light's Embrace gain haste, increasing their movement speed by 3, 11, and 13% on armor, and on a weapon 15, 29, and 30% for 5 seconds. Holy crap. Empowering Incinerate, increase the gear score bonus when placed on weapons. Incinerate deals 4, 17, and 19% on armor, and on a weapon it's 24, 38, and 40% to damage to targets with burn. Fortifying Burnout, increase the base fortify and increase the gear score bonus when on weapons. Burnout applies a stack of armor, 3, 12, and 13, or Burning applies a stack of Fortify. On the armor, it's 3, 12, and 13%, and on the weapon, it's 16, 24, and 25% for 5 seconds for each target hit, max 3 stacks. I know that this stuff, like when you're listening to me say it, it's probably like, wait, what the hell did he just say? That's so many numbers, but I'm just, I just feel like I gotta read this whole thing so that I don't miss anything, so you guys don't miss anything. Contagious Reverse Stab. It now transfers 2 conditions, and the damage scaling has been increased on weapons. Armor, it's 5, 10, and 11%. On weapons, it's 12, 17, and 18%. Refreshing Charge. They increase the gear score when used on a weapon. So hitting a target with Unpredictable Strike reduces its cooldown. I've never hit that thing. On armor, 5, 30, and 34%, and on a weapon, 38, 63, and 67%. 1 hit max. Crippling Reap. Remove 50% condition. Lower duration from 4 seconds to 3 seconds. Lower base slow from 0.1 to 0.08. Targets hit with Reap are slowed, reducing their movement speed by, on armor, 8, 24, and 27%, and on a weapon, 30, 47, and 50% for 3 seconds. Mending Execute. Increase the gear score bonus when on a weapon. Heal 4 on armor, 10, 30, and 33%, and on a weapon, 37, 57, and 60% of the damage dealt by Execute, max 1 trigger per ability use. Insatiable Gravity Well. They increase the damage scaling when it's on a weapon and the scaling past 625. So on armor, it now deals 15, 34, and 39%, and on a weapon, 44, 76, and 80% damage. Unbroken Winds increase the damage scaling when on a weapon to, on armor, 10, 15, and 18%. Weapon is 21, 38, and 40%. This perk now causes a 1 second root when hitting the same target 6 times in a row with Wind Chill. So if you hit somebody with Wind Chill 6 times in a row, you're going to get a 1 second root. Iced Refresh, they renamed it to Empowered Ice Spike. This perk now has been reworked to deal plus 10, 15, and 18% more damage versus rooted foes. On armor, it's 10, 15, and 18%, and weapon 21, 38, and 40%. Diminishing Orb, they lowered the base from 10, or I'm sorry, for Diminishing Orb, they lowered the base from 20 to 12.5%. Increase the gear score bonus from 300 to 1000 when on a weapon. Orb of Decay reduces the duration of the target's non-consumable buffs by armor, 13, 32, and 35%, and on a weapon, 50, 70, and 73% on hit. Slowing Tether, they renamed it to Paralyzing Tether. This perk now causes a root when the tether is broken. Leeching Shrapnel Blast, they increase the gear score bonus on weapons. Heal for 5, 15, and 16% of the damage dealt by Leeching Shrapnel Blast on armor, and on a weapon, 25, 34, and 35%. Venturing Claw Shot, they increase the gear score bonus while on weapons. So when Claw Shot connects to a target at least 10 meters away, you're going to gain 5, 18, and 20% in power for 3 seconds on armor. And on a weapon, you're going to gain 23, 38, and 41% in power for 3 seconds or until the next hit. Resupplying mortar charge, they increase the base gear score bonus on weapons. For the mortar charge, kills reload 1 additional canister and grant 3, 8.7, and 9.5% in power for 5 seconds when it's on armor. And on a weapon, 13, 19, and 20%. Max 1 reload per shot, will not trigger after final shot. Crippling blast shot, increase the gear score bonus while on weapons. Targets hit by blast shot are slowed, reducing the movement speed by 5, 19, and 21% if it's on armor. And if it's on a weapon, 24, 38, and 40% for 5 seconds. Leeching crosscut, they lowered the base heal and increased the gear score bonus when on weapons. So increase the scaling post 625, meaning after 625. And it's going to heal for, this is for armor, 15, 29, and 33% of the damage dealt by the final strike of crosscut. And on the weapon, it's going to heal for 39, 68, and 72% of the damage dealt by final strike of crosscut. Max 1 trigger per ability use. Skyward nullification, they increase the gear score bonus on weapons, increase scaling past 625. Hitting an enemy with skyward slash removes 1 of their buffs, reduce the remaining buffs by 10, 20, and 22% if it's on armor, and if it's on a weapon, 26, 47, and 50%, and it only affects non-consumable buffs. Energizing counter, increase the gear score bonus on weapons, increasing scaling past 625. When calamity counter is activated, immediately gain armor, or immediately gain 10, 20, and 22% stamina if it's on your armor, and if it's on a weapon, you're going to gain 26, 47, and 50% stamina. Steadfast purification, they increase the gear score bonus on weapons, and they increase the scaling past 625. Each attack of steadfast strike is going to reduce your debuff durations by 10, 20, and 24% if it's on your armor, and it's going to reduce your debuff duration by 30, 62, and 66% if it's on your weapon. Max 1 reduction per attack. And finally, slowing rupture, they increase the gear score bonus on weapons. Slow enemies that are struck with roaring rupture by 12, 23, and 25% if it's on your armor, and if it's on a weapon, it's going to slow enemies struck with roaring rupture by 27, 39, and 40% for 4 seconds, again, when it's on a weapon. I made a big mistake deciding to read these. So we've also got some armor perk changes. So for all these perks, they no longer generate on any newly dropped gear, but existing gear have replaced this perk with a new health perk. So these following perks are Ancient Ward, Angry Earth Ward, Beast Ward, Corrupted Ward, Lost Ward, Human Ward, and then these are no longer going to generate on newly dropped gear, but the existing gear with these perks will be unchanged. Corruption Resistance, Blight Resistance, Resilient, Indestructible, and Blight Resistance. So Resilient, this perk can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear and has been replaced on all gear with health. So anything that had Resilient is going to be replaced with health, and it's no longer going to drop on any newly dropped gear. So that's Resilient. Indestructible, this perk can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear. Existing gear with this perk will be unchanged. Okay, that's not my fault. It actually says this verbatim. Increase the reduction, the effect from 11% to 15% at 700. Invigorated, they increase the reduction, the effect from 11% to 15% at 700. Shirking heals, the base healing is improved from 100 to 200, and percent healing improved from 1% to 1.5%. Siege Ward, this perk can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear, and existing gear with this perk will be unchanged. New armor perks. So we've got some new armor perks, folks. Pay attention to this section. I'm sure everybody skipped the previous section. I would have. New armor perks. So we've got health. You're going to get plus 0.8, 2.2, and 2.4% max health. Enchanted Ward. So you're going to get minus 2, minus 3.8, and minus 4% damage from light and heavy attacks. So if you have Enchanted Ward, it's going to reduce damage from light and heavy attacks by that small percentage. Again, that's 2%, 3.8%, and 4% less damage from light and heavy attacks with Enchanted Ward. Grit Ward, -2%, 3.8%, and -4% damage while under the effects of grit. Flame Harmony, you're going to have +1, 1.8, or 2% fire damage. Same thing and same numbers with Frost Harmony, Shock Harmony. Shock is lightning damage, by the way. Nature Harmony, Void Harmony, and Arcane Harmony. Again, these Harmony new armor perks are going to give you +1, 1.8, and +2% of the damage that whatever it's associated with. We're also going to get Slash Conditioning, Thrust Conditioning, and Strike Conditioning. These are going to absorb said damage for 5 seconds after taking said damage. Each item with this perk stacks. So if you have 5 pieces of Slash Conditioning, you're going to get slash damage absorption for 5 seconds after taking slash damage. Amulet perk changes. Health, and remember these are amulet perk changes. Health, renamed to Adored Health. Reduced to health bonus from 3, 9.7, and 10 to 3, 6, and 7%. Mana recovery. This perk can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear, and existing gear with this perk will be unchanged. Fortified recovery. They reduce the cooldown from 90 seconds to 30 seconds, and they also reduce the fortify from 10 to 20%. And divine no longer improves the healing from potions. So if divine improve healing on yourself, doesn't benefit from pots. New amulet perks. Alchemist Reprieve. It improves the healing from potions by 10%. And we also got another new amulet perk, Refreshing Recovery. When your health drops below 50%, all of your active abilities cooldowns will reset. Whoa! Ring perk changes. Here we go. Leeching. They increase the life gain from leeching from 1, 5.2, and 5.8 to 1, 6.3, and 7.1. Now, let me just see. Yep, these are all going to be the same for the following ring perk changes. Element damages like fire damage, ice damage, nature damage, lightning damage. These are for ring perks, okay? The damage bonus is going to increase for all of these. Fire, ice, nature, lightning, void, arcane, thrust, slash, and strike. They're all going to do this. Damage bonus increase from 3, 4.9, and 5.2% to 3, 5, and 7.2%. And Keen Awareness, they decreased the crit bonus from 3, 12, and 13% to 3, 6, and 7%. So again, Keen Awareness, they decreased the crit bonus from 3, 12, and 13% all the way down to 3, 6, and 7. So they halved it and moved this to the crit exclusive label. Not sure what that means. Brilliant. This perk can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear, and existing gear with this will be unchanged. Invigorated Punishment. They reduced the damage bonus from 2% to 1%, and they increased the max stacks to 10. So you can get a max of 10% with Invigorated Punishment. Exclusive label moved to damage type, whatever that means. New ring perks. So we've got some healing stuff. Healing Breeze. When you directly heal a target, you apply a 5-second healing buff, which is going to be 10% weapon damage. Purifying. When you cleanse a condition, you will heal for 10% of the weapon damage. And Purifying Heart. When you use a heart gem, you will lose all conditions. All the conditions. I want to lose all of the conditions. And you could do that with Purifying Heart when you use a heart gem. Earring perk changes. So focus, this perk can no longer generate. So for the following earring perks, these can all no longer generate on any newly dropped gear, and the existing gear with these earring perks are going to be unchanged. Focus, Beloved, Evasive, Mana Toast, and for Refreshing Toast, they reduce the bonus to 10% at 700 and reduce the base healing and regen potion cooldowns from 30 seconds to 25 seconds. And we've got some new earring perks. Empowering Toast. Give 20% empower for 4 seconds whenever you drink a potion. Fortifying Toast. Give 50% fortify for 4 seconds on potion drinking an absorb potion. So if you drink an absorb potion, you're going to get 50% fortify for 4 seconds. Healing Heart. Heal for 10% of your max health when you use a heart gem. Tool perk changes. So these are for tools. Durable. This perk can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear, and anything with that gear that exists will be unchanged. And gathering recovery, healing increase from 200 to 350 per second, and increase the duration from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. Bag perk changes. We got some bag perk changes, guys. Thank God. Oh, wait, I don't know if it's going to actually be cool stuff. No, it's not. We're just playing with numbers again. Here we go, guys. I'm sorry to bore you to death. These all have increased weight reduction. Okay, so for the Gorman's, for the Prospector's Burden, for the Quarryman's Burden, Weaver's Burden, Tanner's Burden, Mercenary's Burden, Quartermaster's Burden, Alchemist's Burden, Lumberjack's Burden, they all increased the weight reduction from 5, 11%, and 12% to 5, 17, and 20%. Pretty big reduction. Plentiful ammo. So these can no longer drop on any newly dropped gear. Existing perks will be unchanged. Existing gear will be unchanged. And plentiful ammo. Oh, they just did that one twice. So they really want us to know, guys. So I'm going to repeat it one more time. Remember, if you take nothing else from this video, remember this, because they want us to know. Plentiful ammo. All right, guys. Plentiful ammo. Big change. This perk can no longer generate on any newly dropped gear, and existing gear with this perk will remain unchanged. All right, that's plentiful ammo, folks. Write it down. That's going to be in the title of this video. Plentiful ammo perk has been changed. Holy crap. And lastly, town loyalty. They increased the territory standing by 5, 14, and 15%. Some general change, or a general change, they adjusted the Keen Tondo perk to not only provide the benefit if the rapier is active. Game mode updates. Notable fixes. They fixed an issue that caused players to get stuck in I almost said AIDS, in aiming down sights when reloading into game modes with specific abilities active. Outpost Rush. Outpost Rush now scales players to gear score 675. It was previously 600. They increased the structure, HP in Invasions, Wars, and Outpost Rush to account for player power increases, so that's to be expected. They also fixed an issue that caused the interact prompt for reloading turrets to not show the correct item count, and they fixed an issue that caused the corrupted portal UI event to display after the match ended. We've got some economy progression and gear changes, specifically PvP reward changes. So PvP reward changes, guys. Previously, a player needed to be alive for at least 10 minutes for another player to earn PvP XP and Azov Salt when killing them. Players will now earn a nominal amount of PvP XP and Azov Salt, 25 each, when they kill another player in the open world, no matter how long the other player has been alive. So if you pop up 2 seconds, you get killed, boom, 25 Azov Salt and PvP XP. Now, after a player's been alive for 5 minutes, they will be worth 400 Azov Salt and PvP XP. So we've got kind of like a, not really a bounty system, but longer you are alive, more you're going to be worth. But there's only 2 different settings, 5 minutes and everything else. Oh no, there's 3 different settings. After 10 minutes, they're going to be worth 800 Azov Salt and PvP XP. So it is like a bounty thing. The longer you're alive, the more you're going to be worth. And I wonder if you're going to have some kind of indicator on you. The chance to earn loot from an open world PvP kill has been adjusted. So previously, after a player was alive for 10 minutes, they had a 75% chance of dropping loot. And after 33 minutes, a 100% chance. Now, after a player's been alive for 5 minutes, there's a 50% chance they'll drop loot, and after 10 minutes, there's a 75% chance to drop loot. The seasonal XP has increased when killing a player in the open world from 1, 5, and 10 XP to 10, 50, or 100 XP, depending on how long they've been alive. And they also changed the Azov Salt reward for reaching PvP rank 200 to 5,000 Azov Salt. General, they raised the maximum gear score from 625 to 700, folks. They also raised the maximum crafting level from 200 to 250. So we're going to have crafting stuff to do. We're going to have more gear to get. This is all exciting. This is the grind that we all love from our MMOs. They also reduced the experience required to progress from 1 to 20 weapon mastery by roughly 30%. So it's going to be quicker to level up your weapons. They increased the family-based ward potion duration. So they decreased their value to 5, 7, and 10%. These buffs will no longer end based on a number of hits. They reduce the luck bonus of the Springtide Dram to make it more similar to other luck consumables. They fix an issue where weapon coding persisted after swapping gear sets. And they introduced loot biasing, a new system that will skew the outcome of loot drops towards a player's equip weight, primary and secondary attributes, and equipped weapon types. You're basically just going to get better loot based on what class you are. So they're going to be biased towards, if you are a tank, you're going to get more tank stuff. So if you've got a heavy equipment weight, you're going to get more heavy stuff. And also primary and secondary attributes. So if you have int and focus, you're going to get more magic stuff, I guess, and equipped weapon type. So they're really going to start catering towards your class. So if you are a healer, you're not going to get a bunch of tank stuff, maybe. I don't know how biased this system's going to be, but that is a good thing. Trade skills. Players will now find new rare items when gathering that can be processed at refining stations for bonus gathering trade skill experience. Gatherable research items are now limited to 3 crafts per day per item. They fix a crafting issue that caused the rushing ice gauntlet pattern to not reward a gem slot with the item. Umbral shards. They remove the ability to upgrade gear with umbral shards. Umbral shards can now be salvaged for coin at a rate of 0.01 coin per umbral shards. Notable fixes. They fixed an issue that did not allow for some retired quest rewards to be salvageable. Fix an issue that prevented craft inversions of outpost rush and war items from being salvaged. Fix an issue with human bane trophies that caused them to not apply a damage bonus to all human type enemies. Fix an issue that prevented invasion reward caches from giving named items. As a part of this change, the number of armor pieces given was reduced by 1 and jewelry is now a guaranteed reward. Higher rarity caches now have an increased chance of giving a named item, and they fix an issue that caused fishing research nodes to be labeled as logging research nodes at the kitchen. Seasons. So they added the ability to pin up to 3 season journey tasks, challenges, or activities. They introduced the wild card stamp. Upon logging in each day, players will earn 1 wild card stamp that can be used to stamp any space on their activity card. I really like that, even though I think the seasonal rewards suck. Just saying. Players can earn additional wildcard stamps by completing rows of activities. Notable fixes. So they fixed an issue where the player was unable to close the season's menu with the escape key upon claiming Play 2 Songs activity stamp after the end of a performance. Fixed an issue that caused some seasonal crafted items to not grant the correct salvage materials. UI, UX, and social. Some general changes. Game mode menus and weapon mastery icons will now show PvP balance differences. Change Azov Salt Vials so that they will appear in the next container list when opening reward containers. The action list with general interactions available for siege weapons and camps has been updated to more clearly present functions surrounding more options. Fix an issue that caused the currency cap tooltip to display the wrong value when hovering over it for the first time. Fix an issue that caused the item salvage animation to not play for item salvage in the storage screen. PvP can no longer be toggled on or off while the PvP icon is hidden or unable to be interacted with. Remove the circle around the button icon when gathering. This prompt previously implied players needed to hold the button when only a key press was required. Updated the accept mission pop-up for faction PvP missions when the character is not PvP active, so players are less likely to unintentionally switch their PvP active character. Notable fixes. Fix an issue where players do not get a reward celebration screen when opening a major corrupted cache, invasion cache, war cache, and transmog token purse. Fix an issue where incorrect icons were being used at the faction shop when purchasing faction XP boxes. Fix error messaging around exiting a musical performance and trying to re-enter the mode again too quickly for better clarity. Fix an issue that caused the recall to house button on the side panel of the map to not refresh after the player paid Azov. No way. They finally fixed it. Oh my god. When you want to oh my god. For anybody that didn't catch it because I was talking so fast, when you're on your map and you want to pay to refresh your recall, but when you hit refresh, you gotta get off the thing and then you gotta press it again for it to take effect. They fixed it one more time, a little bit slower. They fixed an issue that caused the recall to house button on the side panel of the map to not refresh after the player paid Azov to reset the cooldown. Are you kidding me? Oh, Pristine. I think it was Pristine that was, you're going to be happy. We're all going to be happy about that. Holy shiitake mushrooms. Fix an issue that caused the compass to not update properly. Fix an issue where looting multiple sets of items in quick succession could lead to some items not appearing on the HUD. Fix an issue where you could scroll the gear set storage window while a bind on equip confirmation pop-up was up, causing you to equip the item to the wrong gear set. Fix an issue where you could purchase coin or faction tokens from the PvP reward track even though you're already at the maximum for those currencies. Fix an issue that caused damage numbers to not appear for attacks. Fix an issue that caused debuffs to flicker randomly when receiving or recovering resistance damage. Fix an issue that prevented locked items from being fixed by the repair all button. And also fix the daily reset timer on the town projects board so that it no longer overlaps with the hourglass icon. Tooltip and text fixes. They corrected the quests named in the milestone tooltip for the Azoth staff progression. Fix typos and cross-world tooltips. Fix an issue where the PvP tooltip appeared when hovering over the PvP icon when it wasn't visible while using gear sets. Fix an issue where the PvP tooltip appeared when hovering over the PvP icon in the trade menu. Corrected the crafting category name for Timeless Shard Lifestaff. Fix an issue where Azoth and repair parts did not show tooltips in the crafting screen. Fix typos in the Brutish Orichalcum heavy armor items. Fix a text issue with the fisherman's armor describing each piece as the head. Fix a typo in the Shah Nishan. Fix an issue where the exhausted infected throw status effect tooltip showed the incorrect stamina regen rate. Visual fixes. They fixed the visuals for the artisan sickle and skinning knife so they are correct. Fix an issue that caused the player's leg to twitch during the worm dance emote. Fix an issue where Azoth salt values were not formatted the same on the PvP reward track purchase confirmation pop-up. Fix a cosmetic issue that caused the musket to misalign in the player's hand. Fix an issue that caused the cry of the tiger shield skin to not display in the correct section of the Stylemancer. Fix an issue that caused the wrong icon to appear when dropping items. Hear no evil, see no evil, and speak no evil. No longer use a duplicate emote icon. For factions, after leaving the winning faction, the menu text will now update to reflect that you cannot switch back to the winning faction. Fix an issue that prevented players from switching factions using a new faction NPC. On the faction selection screen, the player will now be able to select their current faction again after having selected a different faction. The join button will now properly enable every time an eligible faction is highlighted in the faction selection screen. The faction text now updates when the faction is no longer winning on the faction select menu. When a player tries to switch factions through an NPC but is in a company, the join button will be grayed out and a tooltip will explain that the player must leave the company to switch factions. Players are no longer able to promote a factionless company member to governor. There will now be a warning to explain why. And they also fix an issue that caused the VFX and SFX to play incorrectly when the player was damaged by longer duration attacks. Thank you all for your support and participation. We'll see you in Aeternum. Holy crap. All right, guys, so that's it. I'm going to get busy on the PTR. I'm going to be learning these systems so that I can bang out these videos and, break down these systems for you guys so that when this hits live, you guys will be ready to rock and, hit the ground running. A couple things. I'm going to still be working on my Hearing Club channel. That's my hearing aid YouTube channel I made. Just got it monetized. If you guys want to go support me over there too, if you want, that'd be awesome. It's youtube.com/@Hearing Club. I know that's a mouthful. Anyway, I'm going to get to work. All right. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will catch you guys in the next video. It's good to be back. Bye, guys.